I wasn't supposed to be home until 6 p.m. It was 2:47 p.m. when I pulled into the driveway. The house looked ordinary from the outside. The same quiet siding, the same trimmed hedge, the same sunlight laying across the porch like nothing in the world had shifted. But the moment I stepped out of the car, something felt wrong in a way I couldn't explain. The air was too still, no music inside, no movement behind the curtains, just silence pressing against the walls. The front door was unlocked. That was the first sign. Sarah always locked it, always, even if she was inside, even if she was stepping out for 2 minutes. She used to joke that locked doors were cheaper than therapy. Seeing that handle turn without resistance made my stomach tighten in a slow, deliberate way, like my body understood something my mind hadn't caught up to yet. I pushed the door open carefully, like I was entering someone else's house. "Sarah?" My voice sounded smaller than I expected. No reply. I stepped inside and closed the door behind me without making a sound. The living room was untouched. Her purse sat on the kitchen counter, slightly open, her phone lying face down beside it, like it had been dropped in a hurry. The TV was off, no background noise, no footsteps, no running water, just a heavy quiet that made every small movement echo. Then I heard it. A creak from upstairs. Soft. Careful. Not the random shift of an old house settling, but the kind of sound that happens when someone is trying to not make a sound at all. "Sarah?" I called again, louder this time. There was a pause, then hurried footsteps, then her voice, high and tight, stretched thin with panic. "Michael, why are you home early?" She appeared at the top of the stairs, gripping the railing like she needed it to stay upright. Her hair was messy, not styled messy, but rushed messy. Her face was flushed, cheeks too warm, eyes wide. She was wearing a robe at 3 p.m. on a Tuesday. "Work sent me home," I said calmly, watching her expression instead of the words leaving my mouth. Pipe burst, whole floors flooded. "Oh, that's too bad." She didn't move aside. She didn't come down. She just stood there, blocking the hallway behind her like a human barricade. I started walking toward the stairs. "You okay?" I asked. "Yeah, fine. Just wasn't expecting you." Each step upward felt heavier than the last. Halfway up, I noticed her hands trembling against the railing. At the top step, I looked past her shoulder toward our bedroom. The door was half open, and the closet door, the one that never stayed shut because the latch was broken, was moving. Not wide, not dramatic, just a slow, gentle sway, back and forth, like it had been pushed moments ago and hadn't quite settled. "Sarah," I said quietly, "why is the closet moving?" Her face lost all color, not pale like surprise, pale like fear. "It's the AC vent," she said quickly. "It does that sometimes." I looked at her, really looked, the way you look when you're no longer trying to reassure yourself. Her breathing was uneven. Her eyes wouldn't stay still. She was shaking. I stepped past her. She grabbed my arm. "Michael, please don't." I pulled free without force, but without hesitation, and pushed the bedroom door open wider. The room told its own story. Sheets twisted, pillows on the floor, the air warm and unsettled. And the closet door, now perfectly still, too still, like it was pretending. I walked toward it slowly. "Michael, please," she whispered behind me. My hand closed around the handle. "There's nothing in there," she said, voice cracking. "I swear." I opened the door. Inside, pressed awkwardly against my hanging shirts, phone frozen mid-text in his hand, stood a man I had never seen before, shirtless, jeans half-buttoned, eyes wide open with the unmistakable look of someone who realized hiding had not worked. For 3 full seconds, nobody moved. The silence stretched so long it felt physical. Then he spoke. "Hey man, this isn't what it looks like." I looked at him, then at Sarah, then back at him, and I started laughing. Not anger, not bitterness, just the sound that comes out when reality stops making sense and your brain refuses to choose a reaction. "You're in my closet?" "Yeah."
In my closet?" He nodded slowly. I turned to Sarah. Tears were running down her face now, mascara streaking, shoulders shaking like she was holding herself together by force. "How long?" "Michael, please, let me explain." "How long?" She swallowed hard. 6 months. 6 months? I looked back at the man still standing among my shirts. "What's your name?" "Brandon." "Brandon," I said calmly, "I'm going to give you 10 seconds to get dressed and get out of my house." He didn't move. 10. He grabbed his shirt. 9. He struggled with his shoes. 8. Sarah was sobbing behind me. "Michael, please let me explain." 7. Brandon pushed past me, half-dressed, and ran down the stairs. Seconds later, the front door slammed shut. I stood there in my bedroom, my wife behind me, the closet door open like a mouth that had finished speaking. And that's when I realized something unexpected. I wasn't angry. I was relieved. Because for 6 months, I'd been preparing something she didn't know about, and Brandon had just made it a whole lot easier. If you want to know what I'd been planning and why I started laughing when I should have been furious, hit subscribe, because what happened next turned her affair into the biggest mistake of her life. My name is Michael Brennan. I'm 39 years old. I'm a systems engineer for a manufacturing company in Grand Rapids, Michigan. I work long hours, I travel sometimes, I make good money. Not rich, but comfortable. I've been married to Sarah for 8 years. Or I was married to Sarah. Let me back up. 6 months ago, around the same time Sarah's affair apparently began, something else began too. My company was acquired. Not hostile, not dramatic, a clean corporate merger, the kind announced with polished emails and forced optimism. For most employees, it just meant a new logo on the pay stub. For me, it meant something entirely different. Buried deep in my original employment contract, the one I signed 7 years ago, was a clause I had forgotten existed. Section 14.3, Equity Acceleration upon Change of Control. Translation: if the company gets sold, your stock options vest immediately. I had $50,000 worth of options granted at $2 per share. The acquisition price was $47 per share. Do the math. $2.25 million before taxes. I remember sitting in a conference room while HR explained it in a neutral voice, as if they were discussing printer ink. Your options will vest on the closing date. You'll have 90 days to exercise them. We recommend speaking with a financial advisor. I nodded, smiled, shook hands. Then I went to my car and sat there gripping the steering wheel, unable to start the engine. $2.25 million. Life-changing money. Freedom money. Walk away and start over money. And the first decision I made was simple. I didn't tell Sarah. Not because I didn't trust her. Or maybe exactly because I didn't. Things had been different. Subtle at first, then obvious. Distance, distraction, the gym membership, the new clothes, the new hair, late nights, girls' nights that multiplied, the way she angled her phone away when I entered a room, the way she slept at the edge of the bed like there was an invisible boundary between us. I didn't have proof, just a feeling that wouldn't quiet down. So when HR told me about the money, I made a decision. I'd wait. I'd watch.
And I'd see what happened. I started paying attention, not in a creepy way, just noticing. I noticed she'd started wearing perfume to the gym. I noticed her girls' nights always seemed to be on Tuesdays and Thursdays, the same days I worked late. I noticed she'd bought lingerie I'd never seen her wear. One night I checked the credit card statement. There it was, a charge from the Marriott downtown, $247. I asked her about it. "Oh, that was for Jess's bachelorette party," she said without missing a beat. "We got a room so no one had to drive." "Jess got married 2 years ago." She blinked. "Different Jess." I nodded, didn't push it, but I screenshotted the statement and I started building a file. I didn't hire a private investigator, didn't need to. I'm a systems engineer. I know how technology works. Our cell phone plan had a family tracking feature. She had set it up years ago so we could see each other's locations for safety. I'd never used it until now. I started checking it casually just to see, and the pattern was clear. Tuesdays and Thursdays, when she said she was at the gym, her phone was at the Marriott for 2 hours every time. I didn't confront her. I just documented it. Screenshots, dates, times. I opened a separate cloud account she didn't know about and backed everything up. And I waited. The acquisition closed in January. My options vested. $2.25 million minus taxes left me with about $1.4 million in my account. I moved it immediately. New bank, new account, opened in my name only. Sarah never noticed. Why would she? She never looked at our finances. I handled all of it. I kept working, kept coming home at 6 p.m., kept pretending everything was normal. But inside, I was planning. I met with a lawyer quietly. I think my wife is cheating, I told him. I want to be prepared. His name was Richard, mid-50s, divorced twice. He'd seen this movie before. Do you have proof? He asked. I slid the folder across his desk. Screenshots, credit card statements, location data. He flipped through it, nodded slowly. This is good, really good. What do I do? You wait, he said. Let her make the first move. File first if you can, but don't tip your hand. And the money? What money? I told him about the stock options, the $1.4 million. His eyebrows went up. She doesn't know about it? No. Good, keep it that way. Michigan is an equitable distribution state, but if she doesn't know about it, she can't ask for it. Is that legal? Is it ethical? Debatable. Is it legal? As long as you disclose it if asked directly, yes. He leaned forward. But here's the key. If she files first and doesn't ask about it, you're not obligated to volunteer it. I sat back. So I just wait, you document, and when the time is right, you move. I waited 3 more months. In that time, Sarah got sloppy. She stopped hiding her phone as carefully. She started coming home later. One night, she didn't come home until 2 a.m. Where were you? I asked. Jess's. We lost track of time. Which Jess? She paused. Does it matter? I guess not. But I checked the location data. She'd been at the Marriott again. I added it to the file. Then came the Tuesday that changed everything. I was supposed to work until 6 p.m., normal schedule. But at 2 p.m., a pipe burst in the building. Water everywhere. They sent everyone home. I texted Sarah. Heading home early. Pipe burst at work. No response. I didn't think much of it. She was probably at the gym. Except when I checked the tracking app, her phone was at home. I pulled into the driveway at 2:47 p.m. Her car was there. Front door unlocked. And that's when I heard the creak upstairs. Standing in my bedroom, staring at Brandon in my closet, I felt a strange calm wash over me. This was it, the moment I'd been preparing for. Sarah was sobbing behind me. Michael, please, I can explain. Explain what? I said, not turning around. Explain why there's a half-naked man in my closet? It's not, I didn't mean, how long, Sarah? I told you, 6 months. I finally turned to look at her. 6 months? The whole time? She nodded, tears streaming. And you were going to tell me when? I don't know. I didn't know how. You didn't know how to say, hey, Michael, I'm sleeping with someone else? She flinched. I walked past her, down the stairs, into the kitchen. She followed. Where are you going? I'm getting a drink. Michael, please, we need to talk about this. No, I said, opening the fridge and grabbing a beer. We really don't. I cracked it open, took a long drink. She stood there shaking. What are you going to do? I looked at her, really looked at her. 8 years of marriage, 8 years of thinking we were building something, and she'd spent the last 6 months tearing it down. I'm going to finish this beer, I said. Then I'm going to pack a bag. Then I'm going to leave. Leave? Yeah. For how long? Permanently. Her face crumpled. Michael, no, please. Sarah, my voice was calm, too calm. You've been cheating on me for 6 months. You brought him into our house, into our bed, into our closet. I know, I'm so sorry. I don't care. That stopped her. What? I don't care that you're sorry. I don't care that you're crying. I don't care about any of it. I set the beer down. I'm done. I went upstairs, packed a bag, clothes, toiletries, laptop. Sarah followed me the whole time, begging. We can fix this. We can go to counseling.
I'll end it with Brandon, I swear." "His name is Brandon?" I almost laughed. "You're throwing away 8 years for a guy named Brandon? It's not about him. Then what's it about?" I opened her mouth, closed it. "You don't even know," I said. I zipped the bag, walked downstairs, grabbed my keys. "Michael, please." I stopped at the door, turned. "I'll have my lawyer contact you." "Your lawyer?" "Yeah, for the divorce." Her face went pale. "You're not even gonna try?" "Try what? Try to forgive you? Try to rebuild trust?" "Sarah, you had 6 months to try. You chose Brandon." I opened the door. "I'll be at a hotel. Don't call me." I walked out, got in my car, and drove away. I didn't go to a hotel. I went to Richard's office. "She cheated," I said. "I caught him in my house." Richard leaned back. "Do you have proof?" "I have him in my closet, on my Ring camera." I pulled out my phone, showed him the footage.
The doorbell camera had caught Brandon arriving at 1:30 p.m., caught him leaving at 3:15 p.m., half-dressed, running to his car. Richard watched it, smiled. "This is good. Really good. What do? We file tomorrow. We ask for everything. Everything. The house, the cars, we cite adultery, we make her the bad guy." "And the money?" "What money?" Richard smiled. "She doesn't know about it, so it's not on the table." We filed the next day. Sarah got served at work in front of her colleagues. She called me 17 times. I didn't answer. She texted, "We need to talk." I replied, "Talk to my lawyer." Her lawyer called Richard 2 days later. "My client would like to discuss a settlement." "I'm listening," Richard said. "She's willing to split assets 50-50. She keeps her car, he keeps his. They sell the house and split the proceeds." "No, my client wants the house, and given your client's infidelity, we think that's fair." There was a pause. "She can't afford to buy him out." "Then she can move." Another pause. "We'll need to see his financials." "Of course, we'll provide tax returns, pay stubs, bank statements, all accounts, all marital accounts." Richard was careful with his words. The stock option account wasn't marital. It was mine, earned before the marriage, vested during, but never commingled. Sarah's lawyer didn't know to ask about it. The divorce took 4 months. Sarah fought for the house, lost. She fought for alimony, lost. She tried to argue that I had hidden assets. Richard showed that every dollar in our joint accounts was accounted for. The stock option account never came up because she never knew to ask. In the end, she got her car, her retirement account, and half the furniture. I got the house, my car, and my freedom, and $1.4 million she didn't know existed. 6 months after the divorce was final, I sold the house. Couldn't stand to live there anymore. Too many memories, too many ghosts. I bought a small condo downtown. Modern, clean, no closets big enough to hide a man. I quit my job, started consulting, set my own hours. I traveled, Italy, Japan, New Zealand. I did all the things Sarah and I had talked about doing someday, except now I was doing them alone. And honestly, it was better. 1 year after the divorce, I got a message on LinkedIn from Brandon. "Hey man, I know this is weird, but I wanted to apologize. What happened was wrong. I'm sorry." I stared at it for a long time, then typed, "Did she cheat on you too?" 3 dots. Then, "Yeah, 2 months after you guys split." I laughed, couldn't help it. "Sorry to hear that," I wrote, but not surprised. "Yeah, I should have known anyway. Sorry again." "Appreciate it. Good luck." I closed the app and realized I didn't feel angry anymore. Just free. 2 years after the divorce, I met someone. Her name was Rachel. She was a teacher, divorced, 1 kid, no drama. We met at a coffee shop. She spilled her latte on my laptop. "Oh my God, I'm so sorry." "It's fine," I said, laughing. "It's waterproof." "Still, let me buy you another coffee." We talked for 2 hours. She didn't ask what I did for work, didn't ask what I was worth. She just talked about books, about her son, about how hard it is to date after divorce. I liked her immediately. We went on a second date, then a third. On the 4th date, she asked, "So what's your story? Why'd your marriage end?" I thought about lying, making it vague, but I didn't.
She cheated. I caught her. I left. Rachel nodded. Mine too, except I didn't catch him. His girlfriend called me. Ouch. Yeah. We sat there, two people who'd been burned, trying to figure out if we could trust again. I'm not looking for perfect, she said. I'm just looking for honest. I can do honest, I said, and I meant it. 3 years after the divorce, I got a call from an unknown number. I almost didn't answer, but something made me pick up. Hello? Michael? I recognized the voice immediately. Sarah. What do you want? I just wanted to talk. We don't have anything to talk about. Please, just 5 minutes. I sighed. Fine. 5 minutes. There was a long pause. I'm sorry, she said, for everything. For Brandon, for lying, for hurting you. Okay. I know I don't deserve your forgiveness. You're right, you don't. Another pause. I heard you're seeing someone, she said. I am? Is it serious? Why do you care? I don't know. I wanted to make sure you're happy. I almost laughed. You wanted to make sure I'm happy? Yeah. Sarah, I've been happy for 3 years, since the day I left. Silence. I have to go, I said. Michael, wait. Goodbye, Sarah. I hung up, and I realized something. I didn't feel anything. No anger, no bitterness, no regret, just nothing. She was a chapter in my life that was over, and I was okay with that. 4 years after the divorce, Rachel and I got married. Small ceremony, just family and close friends. Tyler was the ring bearer. He was 8, took his job very seriously. At the reception, my dad pulled me aside. You did good, son. Thanks, Dad. I mean it. You handled that whole thing with Sarah with class. A lot of guys would have lost their minds. I shrugged. I had a plan. He laughed. Yeah, you always do. We stood there watching Rachel dance with Tyler. She's good for you, Dad said. Yeah, she is. You tell her about the money? Yeah, last year. How'd she take it? She said, that's nice. Can you still take out the trash? Keep her. Yeah. 5 years after the divorce, I got one more message from Sarah. It was short. I heard you got remarried. Congratulations. I hope you're happy. I stared at it for a minute, then typed, I am. I hope you are too. I hit send, and I meant it. Not because I forgave her, not because I forgot what she did, but because holding on to anger is like drinking poison and expecting the other person to die. I'd spent 5 years building a new life, a better life, and Sarah wasn't part of it. So here's what I learned. When you catch your wife cheating, you have 2 choices. You can explode, scream, break things, make it ugly. Or you can stay calm, document everything, plan your exit. I chose the second option, and it saved me. Not just financially, though the $1.4 million helped, but emotionally, because I didn't let her chaos become my chaos. I didn't let her betrayal define me. I just moved on. And that, more than anything, was the best revenge. If you've ever been betrayed, if you've ever had to rebuild from nothing, if you've ever chosen yourself over someone who didn't choose you, this one's for you. Comment, I chose me, if this hit home. Hit subscribe for more stories about the quiet power of walking away. Because sometimes the best thing you can do when you find someone in your closet is close the door and never look back.